their car. Please, let's do that. We got
Well,
this.
if she
We got
has to
this.
deal with the person who I
Welcome
think
to the Rise
is the
Academy.
manager
Rise
of that
Academy
store, because that's the store I worked on when I was
on
younger.
annual
And if
basis.
it's so
Rise
Leslie,
Academy.
she's a
We
tyrant.
like to pull.
I
in,
loved her,
folks
but she is a
external
tyrant. It is, you
that
do it my way,
great
or
for
you
you.
don't do
In your
it.
business.
So
Well,
I think
actually,
you
we had very bright speak. I thought those of you who were on the call last year probably learned quite a bit from them, or maybe working with them.
right, and I think Fred Myers is the one that
And
said
so,
not doing it.
my name is Richard Lucas.
Yeah.
I'm the district leader for the West Portland district
We'll probably
here
end up going back
in
down
Oregon.
next year anyway. You're
And I also
starting
wear
Monday.
another hat,
Women
and that
and
current chair.
all government buildings for 2 weeks, so we
of
won't
Rise.
have anything until the
Some
first
of
of
you
January.
may not have heard of Rise, or were on the academy last year,
Sending
missed
you
the academy
to,
last year. So if you
probably
have
some
Rise,
big
that and equity,
Um,
the multicultural
they called
resource
them
group started
and
huge about 4
ran
years ago.
fiber, and then
Basically,
decided that they
it
didn't
is
know how
for,
to slice and use
for
details and all that stuff, so you have to.
color
slice
as well
and-
as those who are part of the LGBT
Yeah,
community,
we're fixing it.
and for those who support those communities as well, or are trying to
All right.
market. Well, you're all welcome. I would ask from our executive committee to please go ahead and drop in to the chat the link to our SharePoint that you would like to become a member of Rise, get all of our things that we send out, and know all of the notifications and stuff. Please become one of them. All right, but today this is about country financial. This is for everybody here on the call.
Oh, because that makes you-
When brought to my attention, I had not been aware of Tish Times past.
Jeez.
And it was brought to my attention when we were looking for somebody who we thought could be a dynamic, awesome speaker. That's when I came across Tish Times, and I don't know, in the meeting
Yeah.
invites that was sent,
Right.
it talked, it had like links and things
Right.
like that. I don't know
I'll
if
be
any
here
of
as
you
long as I
went
need to be.
and watched her just for a little bit, but as soon as I watched a little bit of her in her,
All right,
middle,
I
I
gotta
was
set
like,
that stupid thing up.
let's do this. Let's do this. So, Tim,
All right.
in my attempt to talk about Christmas movies and things like that, I didn't pull up the bio. So I'm sitting there going, wait a second, I gotta get back. So what I'm gonna do is I was gonna, if you don't mind, I was gonna let you just real quickly introduce yourself to our group. We've got 258 or so folks on here. And I know that they're going to take some real inspiration from you this morning.
Absolutely. So I know me really well, so I have no problem.
There you go. That works.
My name is Tish Times. So y'all who I've not met, there's a couple of names I recognize. The one I'm going to point out in a second just because I see something I want to talk about. But I have been in sales accidentally for over 20 years. And I say accidentally because I didn't necessarily raise my hand to be in sales and to own a sales agency, but it got drawn in because the leadership in the companies that I was at before really just saw my love for building connections to help people get what they want. So that's what I love to do. We're going to talk a lot about relation-based sales today. I do own Tish Times Sales Agency. It is my jam. It's what I love doing. I love helping entrepreneurs, sales professionals sell more effectively. It's more important to have fun while doing it. I can tell you all the accolades and all that, but if I don't know that I have
Pictures help
today.
too.
Looking forward to our conversation, and if you want to learn more, you can go to tishtimes.com.
Right.
More about my background.
Well, get ready to take some notes, everybody, because she has a lot of information that I think you're really going to resonate with you. And so, Tish, you mentioned you being in sales, and sometimes sales can kind of get sometimes a negative connotation. So, like, what's the first emotion or thought?
Can you send it to me and I'll pretend like I'm
said the word
signing
sales?
up, send it to Buggy.
Oh.
So
Or
what-
tell
what
me
are
how to
your
get
thoughts?
to it.
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Well, I probably hear
Oh,
it
you haven't,
once a
okay.
week, sometimes people say, you know, I hate sales because I don't wanna seem disingenuous, I don't wanna see
Yeah.
salesy or lying or sleazy and all of the various words
Oh,
that tend to
I'm
come
trying to
up
get,
when
I'm waiting
it's
for
sales.
the down.
And I get that, but I always invite people to do a reframe.
we'll see.
And they can literally be able to help someone get what they want. At the end of the day, every single one of us, we want something. Like I wanted to make a salad this morning, and I'm a breakfast salad girl, by the way. I wanted to make a salad, so I called it, I got on my app and I went to Instacart and had them bring me what I needed. They were the conduit that got me what I ultimately desired. And if I see myself as a conduit helping other people get what they ultimately desire anyway, it changes it. Cause now I get to serve, I get to have a great time, I get to ask great questions, find out what's most important to them and serve them up exactly what they want. So that's what I hear a lot and that's what I think about it.
So, breakfast, salad for breakfast,
Yeah.
yeah, never, in my life. Heard of that before, but hey, I need to try it at least once to see. So real quick, I forgot to say, hey, for those of you, on the call, if you got a question as well, that pops into your head, please put it in the chat. I'll do my best to weave that into it. So, how turn, getting folks to, just to get someone on board is difficult in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
But with so many choices, I mean, so many choices. But as you know, you can't watch a TV show for more than anything without getting bombarded with opportunities to go or switch or whatever.
It's gonna be.
How do you turn a client into a loyal client?
So first and foremost, and we will talk a little bit about this as we get into the content, but first you have to find out how can I set myself apart? Because like you said, there are thousands of other organizations and millions of other people who technically do what you do. How can I set myself apart so much so that where people will see all of those options and still want to work with me? And one of the things I say is it pays to obsess about what your clients need. It takes a little more work, but it causes you to stand out far above your contemporaries. And that's what makes people want to come back. And I can say that with authority, Richard, because I started this company in 2010. And I still have 3 of my original clients that I first started working with. I've gained lots of months along the way. But these people literally were with me through all of the iterations of my company, because what I started doing is exactly what I'm doing now. When you obsess about what that client wants in such a way to where they know that you have their back, they will follow you to the ends of the earth. And I have clients that have, come along beyond that and then have been with me for, 10 years. And I see with other organizations, we teach companies how to do this all the time. There is an art to it for sure, and we'll talk about it. And if you all have questions, I invite you to ask those questions, but there's just a little bit difference in the way we show up, Richard, compared to those who technically do what you do. They don't do it the way that you do, and you have to kind of rise above the noise.
Got it. So now, were you jumping into a PowerPoint?
I have one, and I'm gonna come in and out of it because I really do want to have some conversations today, but I will share my presentation. Let me ask a quick question. Told y'all some subject, by the way.
Okay.
Chris Peoples. I'm calling you out because I never meet people with my maiden name. Would you be willing to share what part of the world you live in? You might be my cousin.
I live in North Georgia. My family's from West Virginia.
Okay, well, you still might be. We're from the South as well. We're Alabama and Georgia, Florida. But I very seldom meet people, so just wanted to give you a little shout out right there.
I got hired on by a woman named Rachel Peters.
Really
Yeah, so I thought that was weird. She actually lives here in North Georgia too.
interesting. All right, but we'll have to chat later.
Are we finding people like the DNA? We're just finding people, right? Is that how it is? Excuse me.
Well, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna get started. I will start my presentation here in just a moment while I'm talking. I want to tell you a quick story, and then I have a question for you. What I think the way that we can find new clients in so many different ways. I host retreats for my clients. We do retreats every quarter. They're fun. They're so amazing. And
Hey Dawn, my
I
name's
find
Alicia and I
that
work in Jimmy Smith's office
sometimes you
and
can't
I'm
control the
calling
communication.
on an account for Sean
my
Price.
clients
Did
will
that
retreat
come up
in
for you?
Albuquerque. Bear with me as I'm starting my share here. Took my clients to a retreat
Good,
in
how are you?
Albuquerque. And while we were there, the lights went out, the power went out at that entire location. And so
Oh, excellent.
while we were there, we were invited to get
That's
into
okay.
the hot tub.
Oh, that's okay. I've done 2 reboots today, so as long as it opens.
So while we're in the hot tub, 2 other people show up. And they're getting in, well, they're walking around and they have towels on.
So we actually rewrote the policy and I was hoping we could apply his refund to his first
Plans
payment.
to be in this hot tub. We start noticing that people are taking their towels off. And they're walking around with no clothes on. And we were like, okay, maybe that's the way they do it now with Albuquerque, had no idea. But we're in our hot tub and we're just doing our thing, there's bubbles, we're good. Well, some of the ladies come and get into the hot tub with us because the lights and everything go off in another part of the building. And we're still kind of like, okay, this is what it is here, but there's bubbles.
I do.
See all the things, but let the bubbles
It's
stop.
A
And we're
as in
sitting in a hot
apple,
tub.
N as in Mary.
And
It's 942
it was awkward, I would say it was
54.
But what was really
sorry.
interesting is, we just continue to have conversations. Would you believe by the end of that conversation, I had 2 people
It's
wanting to do business with
942.
me. And one of the clients was with me, was like, well, where?
942.
Because it's so fucking.
5467.
But it's the most unique, crazy way that I've ever had a new client opportunity. What would you say has been the most unique or creative way you've ever connected with a prospect? And although I know that there's 200 plus, 300 plus people on here, I'd love it if you have an answer because it's probably difficult just to ask you on mute. But if you want to.
No, it's still in underwriting
If you have
quoted
just a word,
status.
that's something you'd like to share because I definitely want this to get conversation. But sometimes.
But I put it
when we're
on his
networking,
same
when we're
billing.
prospecting, when we're having interactions that you just can't control, or they're unexpected.
I attached it to his same billing account.
Thought they were, and you have
When I
to figure out,
rewrote it.
okay, is this something that I'm going to pursue? Is it, am I going to, I see you, Daria, is it, I think it's Darla. Yeah, we just have to be a little more creative in the way that we interact. So Darla, would you come on camera, take yourself off mute to share with me what your story is?
I won't open my camera because I don't want to kick anybody off because there's so many people that's there. We'll share with you that, one of the things that I had, it was a unique situation. I actually walked into an office to meet with a realtor, to do business with that realtor. And he was in an office with a wealth management person. And this wealth management person always
He
brought
doesn't
his dog
have an
to the
umbrella.
office. And so, his dog, of course, greeted me and then his dog went with me back to the realtor's office. And when we sat down, the dog laid at my feet. And the guy that the dog belonged to came back to kind of like, where's my dog, you know? And then he tried calling out of the office without, you know, interrupting our conversation, and the dog would not leave. And so by the time we got done, I was walking out and he met me at his office door and he goes, you must be a really good person. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, why do you say that?
Okay,
He
sounds
goes,
good.
because my dog has never, ever done that before.
Mhm.
And he's very picky about the people that he hangs out with. And I said, oh, wow. And he goes, I think I'd like you to take a look at my insurance because my dog likes me.
Wow, what do they do? Like, take that dog with you everywhere, right?
Exactly.
You know,
Thanks, Darla.
that's what I'm talking about. It's like sometimes things happen beyond your control. And frequently we allow ourselves to get taken off of our game instead of staying in the game and really figuring out how do I really work with this. So I want to tell you a few things we're going to be talking about. You know, we're going to talk a lot about networking, but I love profitable networking. Many people, and I bet I can get probably a couple of hundred of y'all to agree with this, that sometimes we find ourselves going to events for the sake of going to events or not having a process around the way that we're networking, which means we're probably not seeing a lot of revenue as a result of our networking. And I talk a lot about that. We don't have time to go really deep into that, but I just want you to know that there is a different way to network and a different way to use it as the entry point to your sales process. We're going to talk about how to double your sales conversion and how to master follow-up systems. So I'm going to ask two, maybe three of you all to come, put your hand up in your on your video. If you don't want to come off video, that's fine. But if you could walk away with one game-changing strategy today, what would it be? What did you come for? What's something that you're like, okay, when I leave, I need to understand this one thing. Let me get 2 or 3 of you all just to come and share with me, what's the one thing you're really looking to walk away with today? And I'm not gonna take too much time. So yeah, got one. We get a couple more. Dana, go ahead, Dana. You can go ahead and open up. And I got my people. Okay, good. Dana.
Hello,
Yes.
hi, so I would like to go over, strategic follow-up from networking events. I just came from a networking event today, there was 30 women. I got 10 business cards, I actually have them sitting in front of me, I'm gonna send the emails after this meeting. But I'm like, I want it to be strategic and, really intentional follow-up.
I got
Thank
you.
you.
I got you. We're gonna talk about that for certain. All right, who do we have next?
Mhm.
And Brandon,
All right, Brandon.
Hey, I am brand new
Mhm.
into sales. I'm on my second career now, so this is kind of just a life transition point for me. And from my first job, I spent a lot of time away and a lot of time doing something or doing things that I didn't really enjoy and didn't have passion for. I want to figure out how to network in my passion areas and be successful.
So
That's
It-
such a
my
great
understanding
point.
is it won't
That's
issue without an
great.
initial
Okay, we'll
payment.
definitely make sure that's covered. Got time for one more. I had another hand up. If you want to come back, you're welcome to.
Okay, so
All right, got you. That's Miles.
Yeah, I would say really, asking for
Mhm.
referrals, what's the best transition, how to pivot, I know there's a natural way to do it, but, what are effective?
yeah,
ways
I
to
have that, but
really,
yeah,
get quality
okay,
referrals?
so I need her, the underwriter I talked to attach it to his billing account
And we
then.
get to the end and I haven't discussed that.
'Cause we
Remind
submitted
you,
for
I definitely
issuance
wanna
and all
make
that.
sure we get you some-
Okay, I'll
some
ask her to
tips
attach
to
it.
make that here for you. And then Justin, I know you put your hand out.
That's
I saw
okay.
Saw your hand up. Why don't we go ahead and hear yours
That's
as well?
okay, that's,
Yeah, so, hi everyone, yeah, I say just never turn down an opportunity, to sell, I know
okay,
that's kind of like, you're not supposed to like give
Okay,
the sales on
perfect. I
vibe.
will reach out to her and see if we can't get that done
Like,
hopefully
requirements,
before
like,
the
you never
holiday.
feel afraid to sell yourself in terms of saying like, hey, if you need me there, I can
That's
meet you
okay.
halfway, like if you're
Awesome.
fine to quote,
Thank you.
immediately, whether.
No, that's it,
Or
that's
you
okay.
man holder for like a home
Nope,
or an
that's
auto.
it today.
If they need it right then that day,
Uh-huh,
always
you too.
promise, set aside some time for them,
Thank you, you too.
to build that,
Alright, bye.
that credibility as a referral. And as a reliable agent, and also just never turn down the opportunity when there's like technical mistakes. Obviously, there's a lot of telemarketing calls that you might receive that can,
So Justin, real quick, what do you wanna walk with?
well, what I wanna walk away with is, of course, yeah, building those, solid, those solid, referral sources, how to basically develop them. I think over the past 2 years I've been with Country, I've had like referrals from people, but like, it seems like they only send me them once in a while. I need something regarding like, I guess, DIY nurturing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. We will definitely get to most of what you're talking about. And as I said, if there's something that we absolutely need to get to, I'll be here and I can definitely answer those questions for you at the end. So let's talk a little bit about what most people do when it pertains to networking, right? Most times we talk about quantity over quality. How many of you all have said, just kind of think about this, have said, oh, there's gonna be 200 people there, it's gonna be amazing. And you get to that event and it's so many people that it's actually overwhelming. And you really don't walk away with any quality connections. So I'm very intentional. I teach my clients to be extremely intentional about the way that they network, only because it can get overwhelming, it can get unproductive, and to be honest, it can get really expensive because you're not doing it as intentionally as you should be. Serena, did I see your hand up, or did you have something you want to ask or share, or are you disagreeing with me? Okay, perfect. All right. Relying on business cards and quick exchanges. And so many times we frequently take business cards, and I won't ask you to tell me if you have this, but I can guarantee there's at least one, probably 100 of you all that probably have a stack of business cards that you've done nothing with. And so relying on business cards and quick exchanges and almost feeling like, well, I'm meeting a lot of people, but you're not getting clients from it. I would say connections are great, and they're the beginning of the process. The loans don't pay the bills. They do not increase your commissions. They do not add dollars to the bottom line. You have to be very intentional about the way that we're connecting. And then people who are limiting follow-up, and are a lot about follow-up, right? If we're limiting follow-up for a whole reason we'll get into later, it's going to impact your ability to close more sales. Treat networking as a transactional experience, and that really comes down to us not being relationship based, not looking at it from the long term. I always tell people, if you'll slow down your process, you will speed up your results. Can I get you to unmute if you would, please? Thank you. I'm into mute, rather. If you slow down your process, you speed up your success. And that just means I'm not looking at just this one opportunity. I'm looking at not only how can I help them long term, but how can I help them? And then their grown children, and then their next door neighbors, all of those things, especially the referrals that we're talking about before. And then neglecting that relationship building. So we have what we call the 3C framework, and it really focuses on authentic connections, engaging in meaningful conversations. That means I know how to open a conversation. I know how to get a conversation going. I know how to stand out in a room, and I'm able to sound different than the average person. So a really easy thought, a really, really easy one, everyone will be able to identify with this. If everyone in the room is walking up to connections and saying what most people say when they're networking, hey, so what do? I'm going to tell you right now, stop it. Don't say that again. Do not ask that question. Instead, you can ask a question that gives you the same answer, but it just shifts the way that they hear it, which makes you stand out. So instead of saying, so, hey, what do? What about shifting it and saying, so what lights you up about what you do? Why are you passionate about the thing that you do? Tell me more. And it just causes you to come across as someone who actually cares about that answer. And you're not just parroting that same thing around the room to all the people that you're connecting with. Providing follow-up instead of the call that most of us give, which is, hey, I'm just calling to check in. What about having some real value to those follow-ups? And I'm going to give you a resource that will help you have some ideas of what that might look like. And then building a relationship rather than a network. The thing that I found is that when you do both, right, when you're building relationships within your network, you develop trust. You develop that thing that causes people to want to refer business to you. It just shifts the way that you show up, and it shifts the way people feel around you. That's the thing. If you're willing and able to control your atmosphere by doing some of these things, it changes the way people feel when they're around you, and it causes people to speak about you when you're not even in the room, because you are a relationship builder and you're really coming from a genuine place. And then, of course, we're wanting to foster long-term partnerships and really be serious about building that trust. So that 3C networking framework is connect authentically, converse with purpose, continue the relationship. And once again, we'll go deeper into that as we go throughout the talk today. So I said earlier, before we started,
Were there slides that you were supposed to be advancing or not? We're not. If you were, it's not advancing on our side.
You're not seeing it. I did not realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try it again, and then
We're still on the unique or creative way you've connected. We're back to the hot tub. I don't know how that happened.
all right, no, the whole thing.
So
Let me make sure that you're able to see. Okay, if I move now, can you see?
She says it has to go.
yeah, we are not. It seems almost like it's broken on times.
Okay, let me see then.
It's the same.
Stop the share and see if the way that I'm sharing is shifted.
They said, don't I have to take a payment to make this issue? And she goes, is that what the writing says?
Okay, let me do the share. Oh, yeah.
She will talk to you.
Glad you stopped making the motions though, and I thought for certain you were saying everything that I'm showing.
Shout out to, it's like, hey, what's going on?
Okay, yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna try this again, and I need y'all to tell me if you're able to see. Don't need this, but if you're able to see anything, are you seeing my screen at all?
You see your screen, you see you in front of it, and it has the audacious big brain.
Okay. If I move it, do you see me moving it?
We do see you moving it,
All right, perfect.
and you're in front of it, just so you know, your physical being is right in front of it. I mean, we can still see it, but, you know, I just want you to know.
I'll fix the layout then. Let's see. How's that?
There we go.
All right, there we go.
Got it, we can see it,
All right, perfect.
and it's moving, perfect, thank you.
All right, no problem. So as I said before, in order to stand out, I mentioned this before we got started, becoming an audacious expert. And this requires you to, of course, have bold authenticity, the word I have a hard time saying, and be respectfully disruptive. What do I mean by that? That means that the way I'm showing up, I don't know how all of you all promote country financial in your own right, meaning do you ever do anything on social? Of course, you're networking, you're showing up as yourself when you're networking, right? So I'm not talking about the things that the company is doing on your behalf, talking about the things that you're doing. How can you?
Hi,
show up
Brayden,
in
my
such a
name's
way that
Alicia, and I work in Jim's
realize
office.
Here, as I said
And I'm
before, but
calling,
even more
I
important,
guess, for
you know
clarification on a
stuff.
policy
You
that we got
understand it, you're
written.
talking about it differently than
Do you have a
all
policy number?
XYZ Financial and XYZ Insurance and all the other
It's
people who may check to do what you do, you're doing. They do it
9425
differently, you're doing it
467.
differently than they are. And that's because
You're probably
you
gonna
become
think
your
it's a stupid
perfect
question.
person's best advocate. That means you have to know who your
So Chelsea quoted it for me. I sent the app back to Sean, got him to sign it. We've done all the stuff, sent to issuance, all that. We've done all those things. And now I called billing because he has a credit on his account for finally doing his audits. And I'm trying to get them to apply the credit on the account as his first payment, and they said that the policy has to be in an active status before they can do that. It's my understanding is we can't put it in an active status until we get a payment, so I sent it back to you.
So worth it for you.
Hey, Tish, so we've got a couple people asking about the 3 Cs, yeah, because that one slide wasn't up. I don't know if this is, you're going back over each one of them individually anyway, right? But
Yeah.
that was the, right, so I guess folks, right, so folks, you want to take a picture or something so that you can keep.
Yes, I just got them back this morning, because you guys have to have that process before it'll.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm new coming back to country, so I've only been doing it for a month. After 5 years off.
So please, Richard, feel free to shout me out if somebody has a question.
Yeah,
All right,
okay,
so
that's good enough time.
Anything you all need, if you want me to share it later, I mean, go back to it, I'm happy to do that.
Mhm.
All right, so as I said
Okay,
earlier.
and so
you all
at least
might be
24 hours then,
Doing
yeah.
some of your own promotion, I hope you're doing some.
Okay,
some type of
perfect. I just need to have patience,
Right.
got it.
But the thing with the way that we do lead
Awesome.
generation is that sometimes.
Okay, I'll just-
Again, like everyone else in the industry, we're.
I did, I sent them this
Yeah,
morning, they were in my
that-
inbox this morning, so I shot them this morning,
You know,
so,
they're
yeah.
attention causing them to kind of want to lead in and learn more about you, so being able to captivate.
Okay,
expertise.
I will check back in on it on Monday, that's when I come back in, so we should probably everything happen by then.
Lead generation isn't what it used to be, what we're finding is
Awesome.
that just
Thank you
like
so
on
much.
social media alone. The market is so
You too,
noisy.
bye-bye.
It's so loud, and it takes a different approach to be able to capture people's attention. So I'm gonna share with you all a couple of ways that we found work really well to be able to not only captivate them, but also draw them in, really cause them to lean in and want to hear more from you. So boring content doesn't captivate, boring conversations don't captivate, long, times in between you following up with your potential clients doesn't captivate. You gotta be willing to capture their attention or you cannot earn the sale. So what's your go-to networking strategy right now? What's the thing that you're doing more than anything else? And I am gonna do a quick screen. I'm gonna see if I can get into this chat because I want to hear from you. I want you to come off of mute and just share with me what is working for you right this moment as it pertains to the way that you're networking. What's your go-to strategy? Maybe 3, 4 people. All right, Sarah, am I saying that right? No, I'm on you. You haven't raised your hand, so I was just hovering over your name. Antoine, I hope I said that right. If I didn't, please correct me.
Yeah, you said it correct. What's been working for me is making sure that every new customer that I get, that I ask them about their network, what they do, ask them who they, their family members, things like that, who they feel like would be beneficial to use my services, or who they feel like might be able to use my services. So that's what that works all the time. Then making sure that I keep follow up them after the sale to keep that relationship going.
Perfect, wonderful. Glad it's working for you. Keep doing it. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, do you have anybody else? Brooklyn.
So what's working for me, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. What's working for me is just attending, I could do fundraising events, so I do galas, and I've been doing them for 3 or 4 years, so that's really helped me, as I get more familiar, keep my face in front of people, they get more comfortable with me, I become easier to approach, it becomes easier to have conversations with them, so really just keeping my face in front of people, and just, never being afraid to go to a different networking event and just staying in front of people.
Love it. Great. Keep on doing it. All right, and Damien.
Yes, I go to dealerships and I know that 99% of insurance agents don't like dealerships. They're missing the point. Get a few of their clients, right?
Right.
You're doing them a favor. They can't sell the car without the client having insurance. Even if the client, hey, after 1 month, right? So it's 1 auto in, 1 auto out. Sucks. But once you do that favor, the dealerships themselves love you because you did them that favor. So I go into dealerships all the time and I go after all the employees. Of course, I'll take some of their clients, but dealerships employees usually have okay driving records, they make okay money, and because the turnover is high, I've always had new people to talk to. So I go to 4 or 5 dealerships every week, and I'm always getting more deals because of it.
I give you a hand clap for that because it's different. And the whole goal of this conversation is to consider something that's a little bit different that will work for you. Obviously, we don't want you to do something that's different and it's just not working. But if you're finding a lane that nobody is really embarked upon, go all the way in. Look, if I could close sales in a hot tub, you could definitely close sales in a room that you've not been in before. My recommendation is to try to get in as many rooms where you're the only person in that room. We tend to want to go to events where we know everybody, we're fully comfortable, and that's okay sometimes, but it's really great for you to get in rooms where you're the only person so you can begin to develop new networks. Antoine, come on back.
Yeah, so another technique that I also use, if anyone's playing cafe and octane, those are exotic car clubs and things like that. Those are always good places to network as well because you have not only people who are car enthusiasts, high-end cars and things like that. They usually have multiple cars, and they usually have a business and multiple properties. So I find that it's always a good place to network as well. It's really easy. It's on a Saturday or Sunday, and then you just network with them.
Perfect. Great ideas, y'all. I'm hearing some really fantastic things. And I'm hoping that if you're hearing something that you're not doing, and it really would work and apply for you, that you're saying, yes, I'm going to give that a shot as well. I would even say to be willing to reach out to the people who are saying these things and say, hey, next time you go, maybe I can hang out with you. I'd love to see how that works for you, right? Richard, can you see my screen again, or do I need to come all the way back out and reshare?
No screen yet. So you're going to have to go back and share, I guess.
All right, I'm hitting sharing and stuff. Let me see what's going on. I'm a Zoom girl, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this.
Most of the world did it.
Like, normally you just hit share and it shares again, and it looks like it's sharing, but it's obviously not.
I know, I see it here.
All right. I'm hitting share, y'all. I really am. I tell you what, I'm gonna keep it moving, and if there's something that you all really need me to show you, I'll definitely do that. I don't wanna.
We're at about, I got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, I don't wanna waste too much time. So I will come back and show you all the things that, I'll send you the presentation so you can take a look at it yourself. So if you really consider automating with personality, what I mean by automating, and again, I know that when you're in a certain type of environment, it may or may not work for you to be able to automate. You may not be using a personal CRM, but in the ways that you can actually automate, I love you all able to find ways to know that you can ensure that your follow-up doesn't get stopped because of your bandwidth, meaning you're busy and you're not really having the time to do the things you'd like to be able to do. I'd love for you to find ways to automate your contact content as much as you possibly can, but where you can't automate, you have to be extremely persistent and consistent and find ways to ensure that you can stay in front of the people that you want to work with. Somebody said earlier, you want to find ways that feel really fun, right? Ways that really work for your personality, work for how you really want to show up. Find ways to make networking fun. I love when, one of you all talked about going to, dealerships and finding other things that may feel a little untraditional or not traditional for the average person in your industry. Find ways to be able to.
Oh, wait, you muted.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I could say you got the thing that I have found that is working probably better than the average thing, especially using platforms like LinkedIn, is what we call roundtables. And I'm sure you may have heard of a roundtable before. It's a great way to bring people together and to educate them in certain ways. But this is the thing that most people are not doing, is using it for client attraction. It's a one-to-many sales conversation is what it really turns out to be. I have a method of doing it that allows us to invite people to a conversation, no more than 8, normally 6 to 8 people in a conversation. For those of you all who are doing B2B sales, it can be an absolute game changer for you. Now I see you, Steve, I'll get you in just 1 second. It's a way to invite people to something that they probably wouldn't respond to otherwise. So if you ever DM someone in LinkedIn, the average is you go into a hole and nobody responds to you, or it takes a while, or they often say no. When you're inviting them to have a conversation where they get almost featured as an expert, or get connected to other people, it changes the game. And people say yes to it over and over again, and it's probably about 75 to 80% converting for most of the people that we're doing this with. And I can answer questions about that if anybody desires to know more about how we do that. Steve, what's your question, sir? First off. Oh, we lost you, Steve. All right. All right. So my question to you all is, what is the most common objection that you hear from potential clients? What's the most common objection that you hear from potential clients? Is it money? Is it time? Is it something completely different? And once again, maybe 2 or 3 of you all can answer that question. What's the thing that people are saying more than anything? Or is it that they just kind of ghost and you don't hear anything? They just kind of go away and you don't know. The pricing, auto insurance too expensive, prices too high. And those things, they can't be real, right? But how do you get around those conversations? I love something that we call just pre-objecting. In other words, that means coming to someone, you may say, I don't want to talk about that because we already know that's going to be their major issue, right? They already have an agent. They think it's too expensive. It's too much trouble to switch. All of those things. If you enter the conversation knowing that those things are going to come up and actually guide the conversation, it's almost like, Richard, I know, because I talk to people like you on a regular basis, I know that frequently you might feel like this could be a little more expensive than our competitor. Let me talk to you about how this might still be a great chance for you or a great opportunity for you. I'd love to hear why these, you might feel that way. In other words, you bring the conversation up, you bring the objection up so that you can actually talk through it instead of waiting for them to get to it on their own because they have their own preconceived notion about it, and you can get it out of the way right at the top, right? We're moving into conversion. And many of you all, or many of us in the world of sales, I say the same. Many of us feel like we need lots and lots and lots of leads in order to be successful. Am I right? Anybody agree? You feel like you need more leads, more leads, more leads, more qualified leads. But this is the thing. I would say we don't need more leads. We need perfect leads. We need the right types of people who are not only ready and able, but they want to do business with you. And that's the thing I was talking about before is it pertains to really being so sure about what they are looking for, having more conversations to understand who that perfect client is, what are the things that they are really looking for, so that when you're having conversations with people, you can quickly and easily identify those perfect leads. This may not work for you all, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, because you might be able to do your own version of this. We have avatars for our perfect clients. And so anybody in my company, if we're having a conversation, is immediately within the first probably 30 to 45 seconds, we know that we've either identified a perfect client or not. And so our avatar, because I'm in the world of sales, we work with people that do a lot of networking. I have networking Nancy. Networking Nancy is the person who is always in the networking event. She goes everywhere, does all the things. It's always in the Facebook pictures. But because she doesn't have a process around how she networks, she's not really making money with her networking, right? Then we have sales leader Susan, who is in charge of a sales team. She's responsible for motivating them, keeping them enthusiastic, helping them to add dollars to their bottom line, and she's held responsible for their performance. And then we have the person who's more like, she is very, very apprehensive about getting out there and talking to people at all, because she feels a lot more apprehensive. She's a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? She's introverted. She's more introverted. Introvert, I agree. And she does not like to talk about herself, even though she knows what she does is amazing. And so me being able to, our team being able to understand who our ideal clients are based on those things, as well as a few others, initially I'm able to see this is the perfect client. This is not just a lead, this is the perfect lead. And I want to make sure that I take advantage or leverage that opportunity in the best way possible.
Tish, would you recommend then that if we go through this exercise, we identify who our perfect clients are?
Yeah.
How do we, I mean, we can find them, but is there a way that we can try to convey that to others to be, so they're on the lookout for those perfect clients for us? How do we educate others?
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. I want you to create an unpaid sales force so that you can talk to people. And when you give them a name, in all honesty, you don't have to do that. But I just find, and I found it with companies across the nation, when they give them a name internally, mind you, it's not, you don't walk up to them and go, hey, you're networking Nancy, right?
Right.
But when you know it so clearly, people will reach out to me and go, hey, I was talking to an introvert, Irene, she needs to talk to you. It becomes that clear. That way, the other thing, Richard, I don't know how possible this is on a national basis within the organization. We have a quiz that we can actually send to people and they can self-identify. And interestingly, they come in going, I'm networking Nancy, I need your help. They do it because it's now fun. It doesn't feel like I'm calling you out and calling you something. It's like, okay, I know you can help someone like me because you've already described me perfectly. So there's a couple of ways, both having conversations with people and telling them who you're looking for, as well as giving them a way to self-identify. Great point. All right. So the other thing is becoming that perfect person for them. I keep saying this, and it's not by accident, it's intentional. Obsessing over your perfect client so much to where you are the perfect person for them. What you want, instead of you chasing after people, what if you could be client attractive? You could, stand out in such a way to where people are literally searching for you, opposed to you going and running after people. And so I really there is something I do want to share because I want you to take a picture of this and so you can get your own. Those of you all who talked about the follow-up process, I'm gonna go through very quickly with you our follow-up process. And I will give it to you as a gift. And I'm not sharing it.
Yep, we are.
But
Okay,
I can let somebody else. Okay,
okay, we're good.
all right. All right, I am going to give you a
Yeah, we're
moment.
seeing your screen again, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to take a picture. I'm actually gonna give you a couple of things that I want you to take a picture of because I think it will be helpful for you, and this is a gift for you. So when we talked about that structured follow-up, being able to follow up in a way that not only works, it feels natural, and you feel like you have structure around it, this is our template for follow-up. If you scan that QR code, you'll be able to download it immediately. And this is the thing I'm offering for you all. Because it is a template, it works differently depending on the industry you're in. It may be shorter time in between, it may be longer. It may be different things that you're inviting people to or sending them. So if you want to download this and you're like, okay, I'd love some help being able to really customize this for my business and for what I do within the organization, then I'm going to ask you when we get to the end, just go to my site and get on my calendar for a sales assessment. And what we'll do is we'll go through and work on how this really works for your company and how it can actually be re-entered into our CRM. That's why I said automate. I don't know how much automation is available within the organization, but we create a lot of this to be automated, so it's happening behind the scenes all the time. Right? Everybody
We got Salesforce coming in 2026, so
Salesforce will do this
we'll be ready to rock and roll.
for sure. I'm almost finished, Richard. How much can I got another 5 minutes or so?
You got it.
Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm actually gonna speak through this just to give you the links that I know you're gonna want to take, and then I'll come back and I'll give you the rest of this content. If you want our free 7 keys to master the sales call game, you can also download that immediately. I'll give you a second to take a picture of that. If anybody has any issues with it, I will come out of the presentation so I can see the chat here in just a moment. And then last but not least, if you're looking, you can either email me directly or you can get on the calendar and we can go through making sure that you have that completely customized for your company. All right? Everybody's good? All right, I'm going to jump out of the presentation just so I can make sure that I can see the chat while we're going through.
Right.
All right.
And a couple of people ask about a couple of those QR codes, but the QR code is going to be in the slide deck, right? Is that going to be part of it? Okay.
It
All right.
definitely.
So everybody, you'll be able to get it because there was a lot of questions about the slide deck as well.
All right, perfect. So when you look at, I'm going back to the follow-up, guys. I just wanted to make sure you had everything you needed, just in case Rich was like, "You're out of here, you're done, stop talking." I was thinking we got to the end. But this is the thing, and I know you've heard some of these stats before, but 80% of people give up before they close the sale because they don't follow up enough. And we do this quiz. Now we don't have time to do the whole quiz right now, but it's really designed for people to understand how many follow-ups, attempts, and multitude of different types of follow-ups it really takes to get someone to say yes. And we often take that no and run with it, right? 80% of people follow up after just, between 4 to 5 follow-ups. 20% of people go through that full 10 to 12 connections that it's probably going to take to get through that follow-up. So the follow-up formula that I just gave you all, it has 12 weeks of follow-up. And many times, and that means that if no one is responding to you, you're going through that entire thing. Now, the moment they answer and say, "Oh yeah, I really want to have a conversation," or "I was really interested," now you take them out, obviously, of that. Or if they're saying, "Yes, I'm interested, let's get a credit call," then you put them back at the top of that funnel and just continue to go through the entire thing with them. For those of you all, go back to the QR code. I'll send that over to you, Blake, so you'll have those after this event. But what I love for follow-up is thank you for sharing that, Josh. Good job. There you go. You know what? Help each other. I love it.
Right.
we call this the reconnection week. This is a game changer. So I hope you've been listening to everything. But if you're not listening until now, I want you to perk up because this is a way to go back and really collect new clients from people that you've already been connected to, but you've not completed the follow-up process. So we do what's called the reconnection week. And that just means I take all of those contacts, whether it's I have a bunch of business cards, I have a bunch of people in an Excel file, or I have them all in my CRM. And then we reach out. I recommend calling because that's the first thing. If you can't get them on the phone, then you can send them an email or a text, but calling is the primary way to do this because you're reaching out and the conversation goes something like this. Just as an example. Hey, Brooklyn, this is Tish Times. I'm reaching out to all of the people that I've been connected to this year. You're on my list. I just want to kind of check in. The end of the year, how was your year? What's going on? Tell me what's your, give me some updates as to how your business is going. Is there anything I can do to support you? Is there any funds that I might be able to introduce you to? So it's a give call. It's not an ask call. It's really just designed to reconnect or hopefully kind of get that person back into the flow of your conversation again, back into the flow of your follow-up process. This is the thing that happens almost every single time. We do this about every 6 months. Inevitably, if I call maybe, let's just say I call 50 people and 2 of them say, oh my God, Tish, your timing is perfect. I was just thinking it was time to get that, that program started. And then 40 of them say no, or they don't reach out. Have I lost anything? They weren't in my, they weren't doing anything anyway. But at the very least, I got 2 new clients from that 50 calls, right? So it's a really easy way to reach back out and get back connected with them. But it's always a give, not an ask. And I would invite them to something. For instance, I'm a member of the National Association of Women Business Owners. We have monthly events. Some of you all mentioned organizations that you're a part of. That would be a great time to say, hey, I'm going to this event on Thursday. You're going to meet some great people. Why don't you go with me? I'd love to introduce some of my connections. So it feels good, call it networking day, and it's a great way. This is a way that we follow up like no one else. And so my last question for you, before I kind of wrap up here, is why do you feel that your follow-up falls through the cracks? What are some of the reasons that you might still have that big stack of cards or that long list of contacts or all those people that you're saying, to your leader, they're just not responding. I just can't get them to do anything and I don't know what to do, right? Is there a reason? Does anybody want to share with me a reason why? Is it because we get too busy? Is it because you don't feel like you have the structure? Don't know how to get the conversation started? That's a real honest answer. Thanks, Roxanne, for being honest. That's a real answer. Service work, you're out, right? Just time and then having a consistent follow-up process. So interestingly, as you mentioned getting Salesforce in, what that will be able to do, and to be honest with you, Richard, I'm not a Salesforce person as far as I'm licensed by them or anything, but I'm a CRM expert. We work with CRMs with our clients all the time. I would be really happy to at least show you guys how to implement the follow-up process into a CRM so that answer gets taken off the list. Because now it's not about time, because you have the automations in place to do a lot of it. And then we can actually equip you with conversation starters, things that you can actually say so you feel really comfortable having that conversation, right? Don't prioritize time. But these are real honest answers. All of us have been there before. So I'm going to close with what I call my love process. And that's, really focusing and really mastering lead generation. That's the L. O is overcoming objections, right? You're pre-objecting. You're coming across as the expert from the beginning of that conversation. B is the value proposition. So you know how to communicate the value that you bring to that client with expertise, complete expertise. And then the E is engagement excellence. And once again, that means I'm willing to go above and beyond to make sure that the potential clients that I'm connecting with know that they're going to get what they need from me and they're seeking me out. They know who I'm looking for. They know how I can help them and they become my unpaid sales force. We only have a little bit of time. I have so much more. And
listen. Tish, listen, and just so everybody out there, this is probably weeks and weeks and weeks of information. She just crammed as much as possibly could into 40 minutes. So, I mean, I'm impressed that you're even able to take a breath during that time. So, such great information. Now, there was one thing that I was sitting there writing, that reconnection, week, and you started talking about your, like, what you would say, and I'm frantically trying to write down what you said, and I wasn't even able to catch up, and I'm sure others on the call as well would feel the same way. So what I'm proposing, and if you're okay with this, is we're gonna send out the deck that you have, but maybe rewriting or putting a paragraph down of that reconnection week, and also the love academic love, the overcome object. Maybe we put a couple of those things that maybe are not on a slide. We can add to this and get this out.
I would love it. I would
All right.
absolutely be happy to do that. Somebody's asking for the contact info. Was it for the Zoom, for the QR code, or was it for my number? If I can just put my email,
Well,
I'll drop it in.
Yeah, and everything also, this chat will live. So anything that's put in the chat, you can always come back to. So Tish, feel free to put anything you want into the chat. But hey, everybody, we only got a few more minutes, but you can see why we wanted to have Tish Times be on this call, right? I mean, there's a lot of energy. She's got a lot of thoughts, and I'm hoping that you took from this is boring. You can't be boring. You got to try and figure out some ways. And she started off with hot tub, thinking hot tub. So it's definitely not boring when it comes to Tish Times. So if you want to connect with her, there's going to be opportunities for you to do so as well. I will get the deck for her. We'll make sure we get that out as well as the conversation for that reconnection week as well. So Tish, I appreciate you. And that was a great opportunity, great time. And thank you all for being on. We were 300 plus for most of it. So there's a lot of great information that was given. So again, the chat will be the spot that lives. So Tish, if you want to put anything else in there, let me know. So all right, thank you all. Have a fantastic holiday.
Don't say goodbye, Richard. Don't say goodbye. Heather Goose coming in hot. Tish Times, thank you so much. I love you spreading the love. Guys, I got 2 minutes of 3 quick tidbits. So this was my job today.
Sorry, my fault. I was so excited about Tish. I know
Tish is amazing. I told you she was great. So I love it. But guys, don't hang up just yet. Yeah, this is what you need to hear. 3 quick important tidbits. One, we will have Rise booths at the kickoffs. So in January, when you go to your kickoffs, look for your Rise booth. Not only because we give away great swag and prizes, but you can also meet with one of our local leadership team people. So if you want to learn how to get a little bit more involved in what we do and finding amazing people like Tish and how the Rise works behind the scenes and supporting our communities, please do that at the booth. The second thing was we are sending out a Rise report, so that'll be in your inbox the next week. I know everybody's doing year-end wrap-up. Hopefully they're also doing a reconnect. So time block a couple hours to reconnect. As Tish just trained us to do, but also watch for that Rise recap report. It's going to talk about some of the things we did this year and what's on the docket for next year. But the last thing I say for the very best, money, cash. If anyone struggled a little bit this year to do marketing because you have to hold the marketing event and then get co-op dollars after, with Rise, we actually have something called NRise. We have up to $1,000 available to any rep. You do need to go to our SharePoint and apply for it. The form should already be out there, so go apply, and we will give you the money before the event. So come to us, ask for the money. We'll give you up to $1,000. You can still go co-op after the fact for eligible events, but please use us as a resource. That's what we're here for. So with that, Richard, now we can Merry Christmas, wrap it up, Happy New Year, all the things. Thanks again, Tish. You're fabulous.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Richard. You all have a great rest of your day and have a great holiday.
Yeah, you nailed it. Thank you, everybody. And I'll put the link in to the